Hi there, I'm John and this is Lou.
Hi. You may have joined us for a video about the all-important question that people ask, which is how can I stop my partner from drinking too much? Now that's a complicated question and not easy to answer in one small video, but we did talk about some things that you can stop, that you yourself have the power to change, which will help influence your drinking partner's behaviour. John, you put these together, you called them the 4 Ps.
Yeah.
Just tell us what the 4 Ps are.
The 4 Ps are protecting, policing, the punishing and pleading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think if we take each one separately, so maybe if we talk about the protecting, what is protecting?
Well, protecting is something that people do naturally. If you love somebody, you try to protect them. You try to look after them, you try to make sure that they don't come to any danger or any harm. It's the same with the drinking. You try to protect them from themselves sometimes, in fact, from themselves most of the time. So you try to make sure that they don't come to any harm, whether physically, mentally or emotionally. So if they are making a fool of themselves at a party, then you may step in and try to protect them from the embarrassment. Yes, yeah. If they are drunk and falling over, then you may try to protect them by picking them up and making sure that they're okay. So that's protecting. Again, as I said, it's a very natural thing to do, particularly for somebody that you love. Okay, so we're saying that we should stop doing this, then explain what that means. Why should we stop protecting them? The problem is, for people to change, we've talked about the carrot and the stick. The carrot we're not going to really talk about here, but the stick is that the things that go wrong, the negative things that happen. For somebody to change their behaviour, then they're normally not getting the outcome that they want. In other words, they're getting negative outcomes. For example, they're waking up in the morning feeling ill, etc., etc. Or they're feeling embarrassed or shamed, and that embarrassment, that shame, that hurt, that feeling ill is part of the thing that motivates people to change. This is the doctor of psychology speaking here. So, if you are protecting people from that, then you are actually cutting off some of that motivation to change. Okay. You are reducing the motivation to change. So if you stop them feeling, from becoming ashamed or embarrassed, then in actual fact, that's something which would be an impetus to change. It would be an impetus to change the behaviour. Another thing, somebody's quipped once, you can take a horse to water, you can't make it drink, but you can gallop it and make it thirsty. And this is one of the ways that you bring people to the point where they more readily want to change what's going on inside of them. Now there's a few caveats that we put in the website about this though. One of those is not to expose him to extreme danger, like if he falls asleep in front of the fire, yes, of course, then obviously that's something that we suggest that you do. Obviously if it's, and if he's putting himself in danger of life and limb, then yes, by all means. I mean, that's just being human, and you don't leave him in but on the other hand, I mean, if he doesn't make it to bed and he falls asleep halfway up the stairs, then it's not your duty to drag him upstairs and put him into bed. Now, that might come as counterintuitive, but in saying that, waking up in the stairs is actually an indication that maybe you had a wee bit too much to drink last night. And these are the things that start to get into the psyche and start to make people want to change their behaviour. The other thing though is you need to introduce a little bit of pragmatism about this. Obviously, if your children are going to find their dad kind of asleep halfway up the stairs, then it may not be good for them to expose that. So again, you need to kind of, your situation better than we do. The other thing we strongly suggest that you don't do is any knee-jerk reaction in terms of exposing him, say, in his job, because that might rebound. It might actually help him to face how dreadful it's been, but might end up with your situation getting considerably worse. So again, use a little bit of wisdom here. Don't rescue him where it's appropriate not to, but if it really rebounds on you and your family, then you may need to decide, well, I shouldn't rescue him, but in this point I'll be rescuing me and my family primarily, not him, in which case again, be wise in the way that you do this. Precisely. I mean, if it's going to harm you or your family, then by all means, think about it. The other thing to think about is make sure that you're not leaving him there for revenge reasons, because that's the other thing, it can come in. Remember that what you're wanting to do is you're wanting for this person to change their behaviour, So think about, you know, how that might happen. And part of how it might happen is, you know, the negatives of drinking. So if you don't protect them from those negatives, then they're exposed to them, and that's the way they may start change their behaviour.
So there you are, go. Stop protecting.